Hello and welcome to the RWITC's midweek review of the races that just went by over in Pune. Now, I certainly hope it was a better weekend for you than it was for me. Samir and Srikanth certainly did have a better weekend than I did, but living and learning is what this game is all about. So time for me and all of us to start learning about why some of the winners won, who the notable runners were, who the unlucky losers were, and one or two market movers from the day that made it all happen. So for the very first race, we saw the market move with Anushka, who not only was supported by the market but came out and obliged the market with a handy victory. The 5-year-old mare from Faisal Abbas's stable was ridden by Amin Merchant. Caprifla, the favourite, was a bit disappointing and will be interesting to see how he gets on in the future. Now, the weekend was peppered with a number of good 3-year-olds making their debut on the Pune track in some cases, and one of them in the second race was Son of a Gun. I personally thought Son of a Gun was a bit disappointing in this race, potentially needed this race, but the horse that was really impressive was Fast Train, quickened nicely and was extremely impressive all the way to the post. Really looked like a horse that's worth following at least one more time. The third race of the day had a number of maidens participating and, well, highly thought of maidens, I should say. House of Lords was one of them, been knocking on the door. My Princess from Altaf Hussein's stable was very strongly supported in the market, settled beautifully and quickened away like a really nice horse. Fiery Red potentially could do with a longer trip and will be a nice horse over slightly longer. This certainly was a decent set of horses. Be interesting to see how they get a fair enough timing of 1:09.49 seconds. The fourth race of the day was the highest class race of the entire race card, and Wakin, the winner at 5-1, duly obliged for his owners. Well, the two disappointments in this race were certainly Nid Blyton, who had come over from Bangalore, had the Bangalore fitness behind her, but really just couldn't convert on that form. The other one I thought was Endeavour, who just was never in it, was just too far back all through the race and perhaps is worth taking a look at in the future. But the winners won well. He's an informed horse, extremely consistent, and well, full marks to Shazan Shah as well as Zerwan for bringing this one home. So the fifth race of the day duly went to Baby Bazooka. Now, Baby Bazooka carried a lot more condition. According to the scale, was 24 kilos heavier than last time, but still came out and won 4.5-1. So certainly worth considering for the future again, because potentially there is scope for improvement. In the sixth race, however, there was Rodrigo, who came out and won that. He won that fairly handily, but I think there was an unlucky loser out here in Maguiletto. I think Maguiletto was a nice horse and just didn't get his feet right, was always off the pace. Now, most of the winners this weekend have come from either the front or sitting up close to the front. Maguiletto was one who didn't do that and ran on nicely to finish second. One to look for as an unlucky loser in the future. And the seventh race, again, Cypher was fancied by the market, came out and won. Pretty straightforward. Beamer ran a good second, but Cypher was a handy winner. That was it for the first day. Let's take a look at how the second day worked out. And over to race day number 2 of the Pune Racing Meet 2022. And the first race went to the Sanjay Kolse trained Pepper, who managed to pull back Majestic Warrior, who had been running for the first time in Class 5 after I think seven races in Class 4. Was perhaps a kilo over his winning weight last in Class 4, and perhaps that told. But for me, the pat on the back in this race goes to the claimer Haridas Gore, who's claiming 5 and who came out and won this race. The second race of the day threw up a big disappointment in Jerusalem at 3-1 in the field. Jerusalem travelled wide and just never produced anything. For me, Jerusalem is the kind of horse I think punters have followed and should basically, in my mind, give up on until he comes out and wins. The third race, unfortunately, pretty much went the same way the second race did for the Naredo stable, with My Treasure just never getting into the race. The favourite at 14-10 finished 4th. And, it's interesting to see how he does, but certainly one that I'm going to stay away from for now, at least until I see a slightly better performance. On the other hand, the fourth race was very impressively won by Skyfall, 2 3/4 length winner. Really, no hard luck stories in this race, according to me. A very, very good runner. I thought Kinara traveled a bit wide all the way through. We'll wait and see how Kinara does. Remember, it was not Kirtish Bhagat who rode this horse on this occasion. It'll be interesting to see if Kinara can rebound and find that form. But Skyfall, really nothing wrong with his victory. Impressive winner. The fifth race of the day for me was the race of the entire weekend and the best winner of the entire weekend. Ahead of my time, 3-year-old, highly thought of brother of Rufina and Kofi Castle was taking on older horses. Now, so far, all the 3-year-olds had failed against the older horses, but not Ahead of My Time. Ahead of My Time proved to be just too good, settled beautifully behind the front-running Arc de Triomphe, and quickened the way for a very nice victory. Alistair, who has run fourth in the 2000 Guineas earlier in his career in his classic year, did finish third, but this was an impressive victory. This horse needs to be followed until he gets beat. And finally, the last race of the day, in pouring rain, Esperanza just ran away with the field. Full marks, I must say, to Yash Naredu for nursing Golden Lioness home. I know she's a highly thought of filly, and in this muck and this rain, he was extremely gentle with her to bring her home nicely. Esperanza won well, but Golden Lioness is one we'll hear a little bit more about and worth following on her next start. Well, good luck for the next weekend. We'll be back with the preview of the races. Samir and Srikanth will be joining me, and till I see you then, may the horse be with you.